OneStepForward decided to make a shoe disinfectant box for the UGA COVID design sprint. The slash PPE is because it's geared towards shoes, but hopefully later on it will be able to be used with other PPE such as masks or bonnets. This is the team: Will, me, Ethan, and Elle. Our problem was that respiratory nurses travel around the hospital with no way to disinfect their shoes. They can change most of their PPE, but they can't change their shoes. They are essential employees, so we have to take care of them. Goal is to minimize the spread of COVID via respiratory therapists around the hospital to protect not only them, but also their patients. For planning, we spoke to my mom, who's a neonatal nurse in Athens. We talked to her about high-risk hospital staff and determined the most in-need staff members. We narrowed down target audience to respiratory therapists and nurses, and determined that because respiratory therapists and nurses, in some, I'm not sure if they have them at all, but in some have their own staff area, that would be a perfect place to put our box. For the design process, we used CDC references to find the top 3 most effective methods of decontamination. We figured out that top 3 were UVGI, radiation, VHP, and moist heat. We determined that UVGI was the quickest, cleanest, most widely tested, and most successful method. This is our stakeholder map. It shows how we narrowed down our way to respiratory therapists. Our solution to this problem is a microwave-ish sized box with item racks that you can put your shoes on. Maybe you just have one, I'm not sure yet. UVC bulbs would go on the top, and UVC bulbs would go on the doors so that you could pull them out. A possible change to this would just be have the 2 on the top and have those 2 come out as wands, which would be a cool concept. But for now, it's this. The timer is set to about 60 seconds. If we test materials later and determine that it needs to be longer than that in order to be effective or most effective, then we will. But it will lock for that period so that they can't take the shoes out earlier, or else it defeats the whole purpose. Here's some inspiration for our models: the UV sterilization cabinet, the UVC sanitation wands. It's UV, not UVC, so it's like they had a baby. We're going for optimization, not invention. With the price of a UVC bulb being only about $51, we should be able to create them at a much lower price, especially if we use reusable or reuse materials. Definitely lower than $758. But our future plans would be to possibly mobilize our design to optimize it for sure. We would CAD it up and prototype it to figure out exactly what changes should be made, maybe what doesn't fit, maybe what doesn't work, maybe where a better location for the wands could be. But hopefully the overarching plan would be to make a disinfection box that was affordable for hospitals, was obtainable, wasn't wallet breaking, if you will. And with any prize money, we would work on developing models for those hospitals.